Hello, everybody. This is Brad Reed. I am a real life trader, and I'm here reminding you to be good. And by good, I mean get out of debt, achieve your financial dreams, and give generously to your community. Unfortunately, our fearless leader, the Elvis of stock trading, Mr. Jeremy Newsom, is having a little bit of internet difficulty. So he's typing, and I just kind of read what he says. It's like the Wizard of Oz because I have a face pretty enough to do a stock trading webinar with no camera. Um, but yeah, so he's here and he is typing. We do have the lovely and awesome, always amazing, happy Friday, Angie. How are you, Angie?
So good. Hey, I want to take the opportunity to let everybody know that we've got a new real life trader on the floor. Welcome,
Yay.
Mila.
Mila. Cool.
Yeah.
Welcome. And we had Ufredo join us as well. He's been very active in the morning session. A lot of fun to trade with. Great trader too. Um, let's see. Let's start with the indices. We've been having some day trades, and I know that we are. Let's see. Supposed to talk more about swing trades than day trades, but we do have one or two. We have got one day trade open and one that may trigger. So I apologize for you anti-day traders if I have to pop over and take care of that. But the market looks bullish. We've had some nice little bounces. And let's see, I remember I was talking with you guys earlier in March, and we were looking at this interaction with the 100 simple moving average. And so it's holding. And I think I became convinced on this candle right here, but at any rate, certainly the time is to be more bullish than bearish as we are continuing to make higher highs. We're coming up to this pivot point right in here. So expect a pause sideways, maybe a slight rollover, but until I get other information, I think we go higher. As far as placing trades, um, I don't hate an entry just above this 212.24 area. The highest over here is 212.24. If we did get a close above that, it would not be horrendous, but realize that this is another all-time high, and everyone that's been investing in the stock market since the time of Jesus is profitable, and there's going to be people that sell. Um, so the time to get in was maybe on this big candle, that one that broke out of the sideways pattern, or on this one is the one that I liked. Any of those would have been fine. So let's see what it does. Again, I'm calling for the market to come up, go sideways a little bit, maybe break out and give a little retest. For those of you on the that have been with us in the first 2 hours, you know I've talked a lot about my high of the day retest strategy, and that might be what I do. Bull put spreads might be fun if you can get under the 100 simple moving average. So I would say 206-ish. Um, I would be really surprised if we come down any further. Also, sorry, now that I'm looking at this, at 206, you do get, you would be below the top of this little resistance area here. So a short-term spread on 206, like for a week or so for you guys that are here live, if you can place that in the next hour or so, you do get a weekend of free theta. Yes. Okay. So sorry, catching up on the pain. Questions, thoughts, opposing views. Type them in, especially if your name rhymes with Jeremy Newsom. The DIA does not look nearly as bullish to me as the SPY, as the S&P 500, and pretty much because we really haven't broken out yet with a higher high like we have on SPY. DIA has still made lower highs. So once we come up here and make this higher high, then I'll be a little bit more convinced. But very often the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 look very, very similar. So I do believe that the Dow Jones goes higher. More so based on the S&P 500 chart rather than the Dow Jones chart. Angie, in about 5 or 10 minutes here, I'm going to ask you for some tickers, some financial tickers to look at. So
Yep.
if you have those, great. If not, hopefully Jeremy is feeding you those. And come to think of it, I just found my list of tickers, but I don't have the spreads. So if we go
I do.
to look at the, all right, sweet.
Hmm.
Angie, okay, I've been meaning to ask you this question. When was the
Yes.
last time you were wrong?
um,
Because it's like every
a lot.
time I have a question, you have an answer, you have the right answer. Anytime I need information, you have the information and you have the right information.
Guys
I,
are
I just,
flattering me.
when was the last time you were wrong about something?
Too many times to count, I'm sure. Yes, I am.
The high
I'm
of over here is
I'm
123.7.
speechless.
Well, you're amazing, and I I don't know how I do the afternoon session without you. It's kind of like Jeremy was having internet problems. I'm thinking, is Angie there? Do I unmute my mic or not? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so the Russell 2000 looks bullish to me. Um, we have been constantly making higher lows. We did have a little head and shoulders, which it didn't play out very much. Looks like the smaller companies are doing better than the bigger companies just based on this. I expect I expect this thing to keep on up. It just had a little healthy retrace back to this pivot point, and I am more bullish than bearish. 123, let's see, I have the simples turned on. Let me turn on the exponential moving averages. Yeah, if you can get a bull put spread for any premium down here at 123, I'd be surprised if there's any money down there, but if there is, you do have all of the exponential moving averages in your favor. Yeah, I would do maybe 1 week out, maybe 2 weeks. And again, if you do that now, you do have a weekend of free theta. Let's see, let's pop over to the NASDAQ. Again, questions, thoughts, opposing views, feel free to type them in. Wow. So we had a couple of really big stocks pop today. Amazon had a big gap, big bullish gap on earnings, and that's a lot of what is pulling this QQQ up. Um, okay, I'm going to go in here and draw a pivot point. I'm trying to figure out how much I'm going to trust that. This is a retest gap. Remember that this is okay, let me do one thing at a time. First of all, Brad, draw the pivot and draw it at 109.55. This is a gorgeous bullish gap, but it is also a retest gap. Trying to see what else I can find on the picture here. Simples are far away. That's a nice move off the simple moving average. So the S&P 500, I think, moves up nicely. DIA, I think, moves up nicely. I think the NASDAQ, I guess I'm neutral on this. It's a retest gap, and that's a big gap for such a big index. So I think this goes sideways. Maybe 1 day or 2 days where it comes back down, and then we continue upwards. That's my thought on NASDAQ. Sorry, guys, I was not expecting that big bullish gap. I expected a much, much smaller one. I'm reading the chat pane, see if anyone has anything over there. Jeremy says, great retest gap on QQQ. The 107.50, 106. Wow, bull put spread down here. Yes, that should expire worthless. Nice trade for you guys that took that one. Very nice. Cool. So I covered all the indices. I believe I'm going to cough and trying to hit my mute button. Very, very nice.
I think you're
Okay.
getting to be an expert at that.
Yeah,
muting at the appropriate times. Yep.
There's a joke there. I just don't know what it is, so I'm going to move on. All right, let's go take a look at some tickers. They have rolled up. Angie, I'm going to start with Citigroup, and then would you cue me what would be after that? So Citigroup, just a cute
Sure
little
will.
nice wave rotation here, just moving sideways. I don't want to draw purple lines. I want to get more data on the chart. Wow, this thing's been going sideways for a while. This thing's really been going sideways. Okay. I'm going to show something on the weekly, and I hope it shows up what I expect it to. And for this sideways pattern, I see it roll up, roll down, roll up, roll down. And so I think we're going to roll it up again. So then, of course, the question is, how high is it going to roll up? If it does. And we are at a decent support area. The question becomes, is this the rollback down to the bottom? This is giving me mixed signals. I see that and I see that. I see lower lows, I see lower highs. So this could be the roll back down. Let me check one more look at the weekly. Honestly, I'm just neutral on this. And a lot of times when you're neutral on this stuff, and when something is going sideways, you can take a look at the stochastics and some of these other oscillators, and they will really cue you in or give you another perspective. What the heck is that? So this is divergence like I've not seen before. It's already played out. You have that, and then you have that. It's unusual that they would go in such steep directions, but the divergence played out here. And I'm back to being a little bit more bullish. And the reason is that we did have a pop that's lower here. We did have a pop that's lower there. So the stochastics, okay, so here's my call on Citigroup, and you guys are not going to like it. I'm very short-term bearish, I'm medium-term bullish, and I'm long-term neutral. If you did want to place a trade, I wouldn't. Yeah, sorry. I think I'm just going to move on. I'm not seeing anything. Questions, thoughts, opposing views, go ahead and type them in. Otherwise, I'm not convinced of anything. Sorry. Let's see. I got COF on here. Capital One Financial. Got a little bit more information on this one. Let me get some of my old chicken scratch off of here, and we can come back. This one looks sideways as well, but a pretty significant gap that happened today. That is a bullish gap. It is a gap and go, and it went bullish today. So it'll be interesting to see what this thing does tomorrow, because it does look like it bounced off this 20 moving average, which again is slightly bullish, but we are making higher highs and we are making higher lows. So actually I can clean that up quite a bit. Actually, I'm seeing that. So I do think we have the opportunity to move down just a little bit, but really this is going to be more of a crucial area to decide if we are going to be a little bit longer term bearish. We are still above the 100 simple moving average, but that doesn't mean squat because we've been just going sideways for a while now. Let's see if the oscillators can tell us anything. So I see a high here and a high there and a high there and a high there, and that's exactly what it's supposed to do. So right now I'm not seeing anything controversial or shocking on these oscillators. These oscillators are a little bit bearish, just like they were for Citigroup. So I think we do have a day or two of downward motion, but I think we could roll up. pretty much I'm getting just a bunch of conflicting views. So if you did want to trade the finance industry, um, I am yet to see anything that convinces me that we have a strong edge one direction or another. XLF is a financial ETF, and yeah, this whole thing is just saying sideways. And this is as sideways as I think I may have ever recognized something being sideways in the 4 years I've been looking at this. Let's see, this is going back since the beginning of the year, so about 5 or 6 months. I'm just seeing and just like a triangle pattern. So we may get something interesting in the next 2 or 3 weeks, but as it is right now, I am neutral, or I guess indeterminate would probably be a better description. Wow, even the Bollinger Bands are sideways. This bottom band is a little bit up. The top band is more sideways than anything else. And when it got tight here, it just kind of kept going sideways. So thanks, Jeremy Newsom, for giving me today to to cover because this is not any of the signals that I usually look for. Newsom has an interesting thought, and honestly, I'm not sure what it means, but he's saying we may have some sort of diamond type thing going. Okay, I'm not even sure how to draw it, but Jeremy, go ahead and talk about what this means and how could we benefit from this as a trader if we recognize that as a diamond pattern. Okay. Jeremy says he hadn't seen that one. He was looking more at this one as a diamond pattern. But if we see that, what does that mean? It's still going to go sideways. Volatility on the diamond breakout, the size of the middle usually. So if we look at that, which is 24.77, and that, which is 23.80, call that $1. When this thing does break out, it's likely to move $1 in either direction. So hopefully you can make some money on that. Let's keep on going. Angie, I'm waiting for you to holler out something to look at. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going. I've got a little list here, but if there's something that you think would be more interesting, let me know.
Did you already look at the weekly spread on Chipotle?
I did
CMG?
not. That would be a good one. Let's take a look at that one.
You already looked at the Qs, but we need to hit Chipotle.
Okay. This one again is just kind of doing that same diamond pattern. This one does have a surprising lower low here. So I don't know why I'm going to say this, but I'm a little bit more bullish on FAS than some of the others, but I don't know why. How's that for expert analysis? Yeah, I think the 100's going to hold. I think this thing moves up a little bit. I was trying to figure out if I would recommend a bull put spread at 115. Consider it is probably not one that I would do. I usually look for a stronger edge before I do a bull put spread. Jeremy says he's looked at it and there's no money in some of these spreads. So financial industry just looks a little bit boring, or I guess a better way to say it, it doesn't really match with my trading plan. Do we have a bull put spread or a bear call spread on Chipotle? Tell me you had a bear call spread at 660.
What do we have, Jeremy?
Jeremy says, yeah, actually, you know what? I got this journal pulled open. I can come over here.
660, he says 660, 665.
Oh, okay. Can I get like at least a brownie for guessing 660 was the short strike?
I'll send you a brownie. I'll give you a brownie point, yeah.
I'll take a brownie point. 660 by 6, yeah, that's beautiful. Played out just like you guys thought it would. Bearish gap and go, clearing the EMAs. even on that first day, took out this pivot, that is the perfect time to place that spread. So now the question is, what is Chipotle going to do in the future? Because it always bugs me when analysts talk about what a stock did. I'm like, okay, that's great, but I want to know how to profit from it. This thing is coming down to a very key point. I'm going to call, let's see, the low here is 632.43. So I can draw that there, and I'm actually going to, oh, let's just do 632. Oh, wow. And here's another key pivot point. I'm going to draw this one just a tiny bit higher based on that wick back there. If we get a close below 632-ish, I would be much more bearish than bullish. This is a gap and go. It does not have to retest. Let me draw that at 630. Templates, trigger end of day. Then the question is, where would you put the stop, Brad? Because that is very important as well. Let me go to the exponentials. Those are no help at all. Okay, let me put it this way. I would like for this thing to go sideways just a little bit because it has been going bearish for a while. And you guys are going to laugh because I call it the nose trade because I end up doing this a lot. I would like for this thing to either make a descending triangle over the next week or so, or I would like for it to break 632 and retest. And so I would either trade the breakout of the nose or I would trade the nose hair, meaning that my entry would go here and my stop would go there. But I need one of those two patterns to form first. And I apologize, Jeremy, for drawing obscene pictures on your during your webinar. Jeremy says, yes, I would love that to chill out a little bit and then trigger. And yeah, basically it's got to rest. It's had a big, huge, giant move and it just needs to rest. Jeremy, type in what you think, guys, type in what you think it's going to be for RSI. I'm going to give you 20 seconds. 10 seconds for RSI. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Only Jeremy's going to get in on this. I'm guessing 17.2. Actually, it's not that much. All right. RSI is 29.81. All right, so not quite as low as I thought or Jeremy thought, but Jeremy's a lot closer than I was. But at any rate, yeah, this thing is due for a rest. So let me see what else I can find. Okay, yeah, XRX was a day trade that we had earlier, and we did get stopped out on it. So that's what it looked like. And yeah, I'm dancing right now. Woohoo! But I have a face for radio, a face for webinar, so my dance moves are awful as well. So if you did get in on XRX, you should be out by now. And we mitigated our risk and only lost an R. Sweet. Angie, what else? What other kind of spreads do we have?
Those were the only two spreads that Jeremy mentioned.
All right. We can go look at Deutsche Bank. Wow, this thing gaps quite furiously frequently. Really neat pivot point right through here around 33.62. Interesting that we swung below it and then came back up. Almost makes me think there's a simple moving average in there. And there are. So we came down to the 200 and have bounced off of that. I don't not sure if any real life traders trade this because it gaps so much. That might be a wonky head and shoulders. But if we do get below these simple moving averages, would definitely be more bearish than bullish for a number of reasons. The pivot point, the messed up head and shoulders, and of course just getting below the EMAs is extremely bearish. Let's go take a look at LinkedIn after this and Tesla. Yeah, okay, exponential is not showing us much. So yeah, if we get below if we get below the 100 simple moving average at 31.91, I would be more bearish than bullish. If we can come up and if we can come up and get another high above this pivot point up here, I would be more bullish than bearish. And I'm kind of leaning towards that. I am kind of leaning towards that because I think on the longer term, I see this. So I would, you can't, wow, now I'm thinking, if you like sniper trades, you can do an X marks the spot trade. Otherwise, you can wait for a breakout above that. Or actually, if you're a breakout trader, take that, but I would be a retest trader. And I would trade that. Entry, stop. Cool. LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn is one that oh, I love it when it does what I drew. It looks like I might have gotten stopped out though up there. But this is one my dad found actually a while back. He said, hey, it's in a Bollinger Band squeeze. What should you do? And so we said, hey, if it goes down, it'll go down. If it goes up, it goes up. And I think this purple line is the simple moving average. There it is, the 100 simple moving average. We also had a key pivot point right here based on the top of that wick. So it did come down into the circle and it bounced. So that would have been a good time to get out. Based on all of this, I'm going to clear these drawings and go back. Now someone has a bull put spread. What do you have, a 250 or a 245? Robert. Robert has a bull put spread. Jeremy, do you know if it's a 250 or 245? Either way, I think you're fine. I really do. This 244, 245-ish area is going to be rock solid support. I think it's bouncing. It's gonna. We may get one more rollover. I think we get a half a rollover. I'm feeling it's going to come down one more time and then head on back up to this area. And I'm really not sure why, but that's just kind of what my gut says. Jeremy says would like it to leg into a bull put 2 since it's a retest gap. Here is the retest gap that came down. Someone's calling for a bear call spread. I would wait on the bear call spread. But yeah, I do like either a very short-term bull put spread. Actually, I would get down below 245. Like by below 245, I would say 245. That'd be what I'd be looking at. Larry Howell is taking XRX bearish again. Earnings is Sue on LinkedIn. Oh, Jeremy's talking about Google. So we'll take a look at that next. Yeah, earnings are coming up. Thanks for pointing that out next week. So we can wait on that. If you are doing credit spreads on LinkedIn, do not trade over earnings unless that's your trading strategy, of course. So let's go check out Google with an L. And if you guys have tickers you want me to look at, type them in. So Google gapped up today, which also is going to be the reason for that big jump up on the QQQ on the NASDAQ. There's a big bullish gap. Should have gone further. But we did react with this target up here. It is a gap and go, so it doesn't have to retest, but I do think it goes sideways because it did just break out of the 200. It broke above this pivot point. These purple lines were guesses as to how far it would come down. I think we were noting divergence on Google and Netflix and Amazon about this time, and that divergence did play out. Now what to say on Google? It needs to go sideways or maybe even roll down a little bit. I like the location of this protective put and the stop. I'm tempted to put a trigger in up here. I guess I'm going to put it. I don't like it though. How's that for an endorsement? Because I think if it does pop up, it'll roll down very quickly, and then you can put your entry there, protective put there, and a stop down there. That would be what I would be more interested in. Earnings just happened, so you got a long, smooth sail here. Volatility might still be high, so if you like a bull put spread on Google, 560 is a little bit close. I would love one at 550. I think your premium may be a little bit low, so cut it in half. 555. Yeah, 555 looks good, or maybe even a 557.50 on Google. And of course, if you're trading Friday afternoon, I like doing my spreads Wednesday to Friday if you're going to hold it for over a week, because you get a weekend of free theta decay. Questions, thoughts, opposing views on Google? I would not trade it bearish, so I'm going to take this line off. I'm going to take that one off. I am more bullish than bearish on Google, but I think it needs to rest just a little bit. So I would love it if it popped above this 583 area and rolled back down and went sideways for a little bit, and then allowed us to take it on further. We are 30 minutes in. We did have a day trade set up on Vail. It did not trigger, as Sir Isaac Newsom predicted it would not trigger. But if you did place that trade, I would go ahead and take it off just because of the timing. And I do not think we had any other trades. This one we did not make official, which is a good thing. But it's time to play aggressive defense or get out of your day trades. And if you did take XRX bearish there, again, I would be playing defense very aggressively because this thing is making higher highs and higher lows, so it's not going in the bearish favor. Okay, back to swing trading. We looked at FAS. We could look at MasterCard. And we did talk about BABA swing trade earlier, so I'll come back around to that one. Oops, this is Macy's, not MasterCard, but I'll talk about it. Short term on Macy's is, well, kind of nothing. Here's what I saw though. I see a cute little head and shoulders type dealy bopper there. Broke the neckline, is retesting the neckline. So this candle today, actually that one, that's a horrible drawing. Here is the neckline. This candle today is extremely bearish to me. However, we have really strong support right here. So if you want to trade Macy's bearish, I'm not sure why you would, but I think if we do get a close below, let's call it the 50 moving average. If you get a close below that right there, then I would be more bearish than bullish down to this pivot area. However, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we have a nice little retest. You know what? If we get a entry above that, I think this would be a nice little bounce. Entry there, that would only be a 1-to-1, but we're in a pretty bullish run right now on Macy's. So I would be more bullish than bearish on Macy's. We do have earnings coming up in about 3 or 4 weeks, so it would need to be a quick move. As far as spreading, If you get a convincing close, I'd say above 66, 64, the top of this wick, then a short bull put spread down here below these wicks, call that a 66 bull put spread, 66, 65, I would not hate. And I think if you did get a convincing close up there, you would have the 50 exponential moving average in your favor, or you can make a quick little swing trade. Now, I intended to type in MasterCard, so we'll go take a look at that. Jeremy says that he did his dance on XRX. So cool. As long as you traded your plan, because your plan should be tested, and in the long run, you will know that your plan will work. And if you have not yet tested your trading plan, you need to do that quick. Oh man, I did it again. You need to do that quickly. Quick is an adjective, quickly is an adverb. Okay, MasterCard. I do like this little trend line we have going on here. And my gut tells me that that is significant in a longer time frame. And it kind of is. I'm not going to draw it right now. Reaction to that trend line, we had a big push above this pivot, and we are rolling over. This is the kind of retest gap that I like to play, except for one thing, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But I've drawn this little figure quite a lot in this webinar. And basically what it is there's a strong pivot, and you get a move above that pivot, you get a retest. These two candles right here are that retest. So you can do entry, stop, except for one thing, and that's because you got this guy right there. And that guy, that double top, is the only reason, basically because you're going to run into something there, and you're looking at like a 1-to-1 reward risk ratio, and we look for something better than that. If you are in MasterCard, I am more bullish than bearish. If you are not in, I would wait until we get a close above this area. And in fact, I think when we get up in here, it's going to look a lot like this. So wait for a push above that and then a retest. We do have earnings coming up next week. Fun. So a gap above 92.85, a gap above, I'm going to bump that up to 93, would be phenomenal on MasterCard. Ooh, yeah, a gap above 93. Let this thing rest until then, please. Let it rest, and then, yikes, that would be amazing. Let's see, reading the chat pane. All right, I'm gonna move on to Pandora. This thing also had a Bollinger Band breakout down here a while ago. Where are the Bollingers? Let's show the squeeze. And I'm hearing Jeremy Newsom sing the squeezes on, because he did that for a year. Still does. So here's the squeeze that no, was this it? Maria, you called this to my attention. I guess it had to have been early in March. Yeah, that's the squeeze. I thought it was longer. At any rate, so this thing broke out bullish and has been continuing bullish. Big lower wick today. So surprising. May have gotten stopped out on that wick for a small profit. But at any rate, big bullish candle today. And it looks like we are going to close above this pivot. Here is my plan on Pandora. Going to check this real quick. Okay, no real significant divergence. Okay, let me go back and I will do, I'm just going to look at one more thing. Do we have 100 simple coming in? 200. Okay, that's a little bit scary, because here's what I was going to anticipate, that this thing comes up, we have a retest somewhere in here, and we're going to do this pattern again. So entry, if it makes that pattern, entry, gosh, gotta wait, dagnabbit. because by the time all this happens, this 200 is going to be in the way. If it does a real tight retest or real quick, you might look at an entry there with the stop or protective put there, but this 200 is going to be your target. If you want to trade Pandora, it would be a real quick trade. Real quick trade. Those are my thoughts on, yeah, Jeremy just typed in probably next target is the 200 SMA. So we'll see what it does when it catches up with that. Guys, Pandora has not seen the 200 simple moving average in a long time. And it tested it twice and failed. I believe it's failed. The stock failed. The 200 succeeded. I don't know. At any rate, that would be my plan on Pandora. And whenever I hear Pandora, I think of Avatar, the movie, which was awesome, by the way. Got a 3D TV and a Blu-ray player that does all that kind of fun stuff. And holy smokes, it's mind-boggling. All right. Oh, but I got one of those Samsung TVs, and I believe that the rumor is that the Samsung has a microphone in it, and that Samsung listens in on my family's conversations and markets to us. I'm not sure if I believe all that, but whatever. It's cute. Netflix EMAs are not yet caught up. So, man, Netflix looks like it really, really, really wants to roll back over and then get in there, stop there. But wow, these EMAs are so far away. I think I want Netflix to roll down a little bit more, catch up with the EMAs, almost make a descending triangle. And I almost never draw a descending triangle and anticipate it to pop bullish. But that's what I think. This is a gap and go. It's not a retest gap. Any bulls had a chance to sell and get out there. So I don't anticipate that there is a tremendous amount of short-term profitable traders. So I don't think this gap has to fill. I'm almost saying wait for this 10 EMA to catch up and look for a bounce off of that 10 EMA. In fact, I think that is what I'm going to say. Looks like we had a day trade on this a while back. And I think it was a high of the day retest. Oh, this is too much scrolling. Okay. Well, I thought it would be cute and fun to look at. There it is. Yeah, a little high of the day retest strategy that, wow, 3 or 4R. Guys, I talk about this high of the day retest strategy quite a bit. I'm just going to go show you where it is because some people have told me that it's a little bit unique. If you go click on the articles tab, click on Real Life Trading Day Trade Journal. Go down here, you see where it says Brad's Day Trade Plan. I'm trying to build this up to where you can see my strategies. So read this article about testing a strategy before you test it with real, or before you try it with real money. There's the link there. Want to see how I look for gaps? Look there. This is how I play gap and goes. There's a video there. This is how I play retest gaps or gap and goes that retest. This one, high of day, low of day retest. There's a video on how I trade those. Now, the video is for day trading, but it also works for swing trading. You know, if you see something clearing a pivot point and then rolling back down, there's a video there that you can anticipate how I would swing trade, even though it's a day trading video. And if you want to see how I trade afternoon to light, there's the video as well. So I'll be adding videos and adding content to this. I've got a swing trading strategy that I'm going to add pretty soon. I've got about 50 day trades, 50 trades, back trades on a swing trading strategy that is working well. But if you want to see how I do some of that stuff, that's where you can go find it. What is gapping over the weekend? Linderman says, is all the information free? Yes, it is, of course. Jeremy Newsom says HAHA might be gapping. Now he's saying EPIC might be gapping. And that's the extent of my humor. Pretty bad. Okay. What else do you guys want to look at? If you think there are things that may be gapping, type them in. Otherwise, I'm going to look at my list. We looked at Amazon, we looked at Netflix, we looked at LinkedIn. Home Depot is always a fun one to go take a look at. Oh yeah, Apple. Newsom says that he thinks Apple does announcements after the close on Monday. Pepto-Bismol line here. Actually, I was kind of hoping for a buy the bounce on this trend line, but let's see. I want to bring that one back and get rid of this one. Both Jeremy and I were saying that this mess on Apple here looked exactly like this mess on Apple here, and it looks like this mess on Apple back here. So that being said, it's about time for Apple to break. I'm sure Jeremy pointed this out. This move above these highs is extremely bullish. I'm guessing we're going to be a little bit far away from the 100 simple. Today's rest is nice. On the off chance that we do gap down on earnings, would love to buy the bounce because you got all kinds of support coming on here on Apple. If it gaps down into this area and you know how to trade the fade, day trade the fade, I would day trade the fade. My hope is that Apple gaps to above 133 up in this area, does that little rollover. You may have seen me draw this before. Can you guess what's in my trading plan? I like those little retests. Gives you a nice entry to stop and then take Apple bullish again. This is what I would be looking for. Wow, here is earnings on Apple a while back. It gapped above, actually it didn't gap above that pivot point, it gapped above this one. So if we get a gap above there, and Angie, can you confirm with us again what when are earnings on Apple? If they are, sure. In fact, after close on Monday. But if you want to know how to trade Apple, look at this.
They are.
After close on Monday. Okay, cool.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, so based on my strategy, my entry would be there and my stop would have been there, actually a little bit lower. And whoosh. Whoosh is the sound the broker makes and the sound the stock makes as it takes off. Yeah, so that's kind of my plan on Apple. I think Monday during the day may be another bit of a nothing candle, but Tuesday, anything above the purple line, and I would wait for a retest of either that level or that level, and then take a bullish. And if it gaps down, I would be completely shocked and confused and probably wait. Someone is typing in a couple here. I saw Starbucks somewhere. Angie, did someone ask about Starbucks? Steven Steckler, Brad, do you expect Starbucks to pull back on Monday or will it continue to go higher? So the question is it overextended and does it have a retest gap? I think we were messing with this earlier, trying to figure out how to get unsplit prices. So the stock split, this is a retest gap. The question is, can it go higher or will it go higher on Monday? My crystal ball says no. Okay, so first I'm going to check the hourly to see if it does look bearish. It does not. It looks extremely bullish on the hourly. So that's one vote for it to continue going up. The fact that it gapped over the 10 exponential moving average is a vote for it to continue going up. The fact that it's been making such a big run up is a vote for it to go down. This retest gap is a vote for it to go down. You know what? I say it goes sideways on Monday. I think it goes sideways. I think it does this for a day or two, and then we'll see what it does. I'm thinking RSI is going to be a little bit on the high side. Stochastics, I think, are going to be a little bit overbought. Where is it? There it is. Yeesh. I was wrong. Good thing it was recorded, me being wrong. That's always fun. That's all right. No divergence or anything like that. So I think it could run, Stephen. I think I'm sideways to bullish. Newsom, what do you think? Anybody else? What do you think about Stephen's question? Starbucks. It obviously could go down, but I think sideways. I think rest a little bit and then more bullish. Gotta adjust whenever we figure out how, but okay, so Jeremy says yes, inside day on Monday, likely, but we need to get the prices unsplit for more solid analysis. But great question. That is always a very key thing to do. Got a vote here for Sohu, Southern Holdings, I think it is. Sohu Com Inc. I think it's overextended. Cute little gap and go there that's running. All right. What do I see? I'm trying to find. I'm seeing this bullish trend, this bullish little channel here. Wow, that was an epically bad drawing. I'm seeing this, and at that angle, I would call that parabolic. You see the normal speed that this thing goes up and down, looks like that. When it changes angles so fast, the pullback can be severe. On the other hand, it just broke out of this channel, so maybe it only retests into this area, but now's not the time to go long on Southern Holdings. We do have earnings coming up. So this is probably, they probably had some leaks or some earnings announcements that it's going to be good, but remember, and I hear people say this all the time, or hear people trade without this knowledge. It doesn't matter if earnings are good or bad. It really doesn't. It does not matter if earnings are bad. What matters is, how are the earnings compared to what they actually are? So if the earnings are good, but the stock market expects them to be epically good, the stock is going to tank. And I learned this lesson very painfully when I had put a down payment on a boat on a credit card, thinking I'd sell my IBM stock the next day. And on earnings, IBM had great earnings, but the stock was cut by 25%. So that was a very painful lesson. And that was just one of the many silly things that I did in my 20s with money that got me into a whole lot of debt. At any rate, so Southern Holdings got earnings coming up. It looks like Monday. If it gaps bullish, I don't think I'd trade it. If it gaps bearish below, Angie, can you let me know, or Jeremy, do you know, is it going to gap after market or before market? If it gaps before market, I'm not even sure if I'm going to play this one, because if it gaps bullish, it's so overextended and it's a retest gap, I'd have to think it would fade down. If it gaps bearish, there's so many key pivot points here that it could bounce off of that it would be difficult. Stephen says before, Jeremy says before.
Yes, earnings are before on Monday.
You know what? There are some key pivot points in here, but if it gaps down, maybe even below this wick, if it gaps below 60, there's so many people that are going to be trapped on this gap and go that I would take the gap and go bearish. But only because it's a gap and go, and I would only take it early in the morning. Now, me personally, I cannot take it because I'm out of trades for the month, and I really need you guys to keep me from trading anymore this month because I realized that in January, February, and March, I traded profitably on my R's, but on some of those months, my account was actually negative, even though I had positive R's because I paid so much in commissions. So April, I'm up. I think after today, I lost an R today, but I think I'm still up about 5R or over 5R for the month. My account has grown in real money, and yeah, I'm not gonna lose that. Had a good month, so I'm gonna keep it. All right. Yeah, so if it gaps up, look for a fade if that's in your trading plan and if you have traded that. If it gaps down below 60, if it gaps down below 60, there are going to be all of these white candle traders here, they're trapped. And if they had a order in to sell, it would probably be below this wick, maybe here. Right. If it gaps below that, it's going to go quickly. Let's see if it is a perfect gap and go. It is not. So it may retest, it may run. It'd be a challenging trade. So we'll just have to see where it opens, but realize there are people selling off most of today. Let's check out the daily volume. Sorry, I just may have noticed something else. A lot of volume today compared to the last couple of days. And remember that this green candle doesn't mean that all of these people bought. The height of this candle means 1 million shares were either bought or sold today combined. It's green because there was at least one more share bought than sold. And we've seen in the last 7 hours of today, people have been selling this thing like crazy. So it could do a bit of a retest. Not as many people as I thought were trapped, but a lot of people are trapped. All right. Cool. What else should we be looking at? Let me know. I'm looking over at MMM. Was this one? Oh, I was going to talk about BABA. So I was talking about my retest strategy. I haven't. Here's a great example. This thing gapped below this pivot point. I want to say it's coming up on the simples. My retest strategy would say wait for it to come up here and then trade entry there, stop there. But you do have the 200. 200 is going to be a key pivot point, and you also have this key pivot point here. So I would not trade 3M bearish, but just because the reward risk is not there, but I am slightly more bearish than bullish. So maybe if this thing goes sideways, let the 200 come up. Maybe a little bit later we can catch something there on 3M. BABA was looking interesting earlier. This line here, this brown line is earnings on BABA. We were talking about, let me see if I can get a little bit better picture here. It keeps going to the line. I keep doing something wrong. So I have to redraw it. BABA has going sideways. Don't be confused by my lines about this being bullish. It's going sideways. If by some chance we do get a bullish break above this line, you got a pivot point there, you got resistance there, you got resistance there, and you got resistance with the 100. So what we were thinking this thing might do is just continue going sideways for a little. Okay, with this picture, you can see we are at rock solid support. but this thing might continue going sideways till it hits the till earnings, and then if it gaps bearish, especially if it gaps below here, holy smokes, I'm trading it bearish, maybe swing trading it. Oh man, Jeremy just texted me, dude, it's 4. People are leaving. Maria's saying market's closed. Everyone's bailing. All right, guys. Well, no more fun for me today. But hey, guys, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Really do appreciate it. Appreciate you guys being here so I get to do what I get to do. I love it. So let's see. Again, thank you guys. Going forward, trade on logic, not on hope. And again, thank you guys for being here. Have an awesome, awesome